You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, Nuggets Nation? Welcome on into your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST on this Saturday night. Hope everybody is hanging in there out there as the Denver Nuggets win streak comes to a close as they lose tonight to the Los Angeles Lakers. Your final score here, 123-100. Denver never had a lead in this game. Los Angeles led by as many as 26. It was competitive up until the fourth quarter, where the Lakers were ultimately able to pull away from the Nuggets. Furious defense from the Lakers. Weird Nikola Jokic game. We'll break it all down here on tonight's Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST. If you're watching live on YouTube, appreciate y'all as always. And tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. More from our friends over at FanDuel in just a little bit. But man, a disappointing game for sure for Denver. You know, they were riding high with that 9-game win streak. Let's go over those games here real quick. Then we can move on to the unfortunate loss. I mean, and I think the reason I want to highlight the 9-game win streak off the bat is simply because of the level of competition that they were getting those wins against, right? You know, and that was a talking point throughout the course of the night again on ESPN. You know, I got a tweet here that I'll read in a moment as well from my guy Kevin that I just came across. Denver has not played well against upper echelon opponents in the NBA this season. But Denver, it was a fun 9-game win streak. But again, I mean, the most impressive win in that streak is probably on the road against Phoenix. And we know that Phoenix is a bit, you know, in shambles right now. But they beat the Sixers, the Hornets twice, the Pelicans twice, the Magic, the Blazers twice. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, bottom feeders of the NBA, Denver was able to clean up on. And if you listen to the last episode of the Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, which was, Thursday night, I want to say, after the win against Charlotte, you know, we talked about this upcoming schedule and how Denver was going to have to, you know, lock in. It's going to be a little bit of a gut check here. You've got you had the Lakers tonight. You've got the Pistons coming up. You've got the Bucks coming up. You've got the Celtics coming up in about a week as well. So we're going to learn a little bit about what this Denver Nuggets team is from a DNA perspective, from a chemistry perspective, from a championship contending perspective in the next week or so with all of these games. And really the gauntlet started tonight with the Los Angeles Lakers, and Denver did not fare so well, losing 123-100. And it was a combination of things, right? I mean, Luka Doncic has his best game as a Los Angeles Laker by far. Luka puts up 32 points tonight. He was a plus 20 in the box, plus minus, 7 assists, 10 rebounds. So a double-double for Luka within spitting distance of a triple-double as well. And LeBron did his thing with 25 and 9. He also had 5 assists. And, you know, the Lakers had great contribution from their role players as well. Austin Reeves did his thing. Rui Hachimura did his thing. I mean, Rui in the third quarter was absolutely on fire. He finishes with 21 points tonight, 4 of 9 from 3, 4 assists. Denver just did not have an answer. And Austin Reeves as well, 23 points tonight for him, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. He added 4 rebounds and 7 assists. So, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. I know it's painful to do when it's the Lakers. Nobody wants to give the Lakers credit, but they were the better team from the moment the game started to the moment the game ended. You know, Denver went on a couple of runs throughout the course of the game, you know, single digits right around there, and they were just unable to get out of their own way. I mean, the turnovers were absolutely abysmal tonight, and, you know, it's something that Denver's going to have to clean up, and they mentioned it at the end of the broadcast on ESPN that as exciting as this 9-game win streak has been for the Denver Nuggets, you know, Michael Malone has been preaching about the defense or really the lack thereof. And you saw that tonight a bit. Olay, you know, the Lakers did make some tough shots, but at the end of the day, just way too many open looks from 3-point land. And once again, it's not like the Lakers completely shot the lights out. I mean, they shot pretty well. They shot pretty well. 16 for 41. That's good for 39%. But where that's, you know, amplified is in the fact that, you know, Denver was able to match them essentially. They were also 16 for 41, 39%. But the turnovers and the points in the paint tonight just absolutely crushing the Denver Nuggets in this game. Nikola Jokic, we'll talk about him after the break as well and kind of dive into his night as he does finish with a triple-double, but only 12 points tonight for the big fella. Aaron Gordon did his part with 24 as well. He finishes with 24, 5 and 4 does AG. Michael Porter Jr. was okay tonight, but you need him to be better, especially when Jokic is, a bit in flux and getting hounded down, in the paint and whatnot. Los Angeles did a really good job of forcing Nikola Jokic's hand tonight. I mean, he was very passive on offense, and I think that, that was obviously by design from the Lakers, but also due to the fact that, the swarming defense that the Lakers were playing really made life difficult tonight for Nikola as he finishes with a triple-double, but only 12 points in the scoring department. And Murray, was hot early and kind of fizzled out late. It was not a great night across the board for Denver really in any capacity. I mean, the bench outside of Russell Westbrook was virtually non-existent in this game as well. So it's disappointing. You want to see them get to that 10-game win streak. You want to let the good times roll, but all good things do come to an end as Denver loses 123-100 here tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. And that is the 20th loss now of the season, as I mentioned, for Denver. Which is, the old Phil Jackson adage, true championship contenders win 40 games before they lose 20. So, Denver gets within spitting distance of that, but they ultimately lose 20 before they win 40. So I'm really interested to see how the rest of this, last 20-ish games or so plays out for Denver against some high-level competition. They have a very tough schedule down the stretch here. So we'll see how the Nuggets try to bounce back from this one and try to move forward. But it is a disappointing game, whichever way you slice it. And I think, it's a bit alarming because, Denver against top 6 seeds since January. And if you're a regular listener, to the postcast, I've talked about this, that since 2025, the Nuggets have done a really good job of flipping the switch. And that has not been the case against high-level teams, though. My guy Kevin, make sure to follow him at @Kevlar23_ on X. They lost to the Lakers tonight. We're talking about it. They lost to the Knicks by 10, lost to the Rockets by 20, beat the Clippers by 23, and then lost to the Celtics by 8. So that's kind of your snapshot here of what the Denver Nuggets have been against high-level competition, even in 2025, where they've really played much better basketball across the board. And so, they're going to have to look themselves in the mirror and get up for these big games that are coming up against Milwaukee and Detroit and the Celtics a week from tomorrow as well, and try to get back to playing that tried and true brand of Denver Nuggets basketball. I mean, it just felt like tonight you saw them just reeling, throughout the course of the game. Like I said, there was moments, right? Murray was doing his thing. Russell Westbrook did his best to kind of, keep Denver in this game as well. But self-inflicted wounds and tenacious, tough defense from the Los Angeles Lakers ultimately did the Denver Nuggets into this game here tonight, 123-100. So, it's frustrating for sure. And we'll talk about some big picture stuff here in a little bit. Not the best night from Christian Brown, 10 points. I mean, it was really a disappointing night across the board for the Nuggets, especially with their starters. I mean, nobody eclipses 25 points, especially when Jokic and Murray here in the last 3 or 4 weeks, all-star break aside, have been, basically a walking bucket in that sense. You could bank on them to score 20-plus points each. It has been for the most part throughout January and the early portion of February now. But that was not the case as Gordon leads the team tonight with 24 points. And like I said, they've really got no contribution, whatsoever off of the bench. I mean, Russell, there was a tight rotation tonight, but Julian Strawther in 12 minutes, only 2 points. And we've talked about Julian a ton on this postcast as well, just because of the role that he plays with this team. He's 0 for 3 from 3, which is just unacceptable considering how he's not the strongest defender. You need what he lacks on defense. You need him to make up for that on offense. And, that's really it. I mean, Zeke Naji had 14 minutes of running, literally did nothing. He had 0 points, grabbed a couple of rebounds, and that's about it. Also had a steal. I mean, Zeke Naji was a ghost out there, for the most part. I mean, the Lakers were able to take advantage of that and a really nice coaching adjustment. And I don't watch the Lakers on a religious basis. So if there's a Laker fan out there, a reasonable Laker fan that wants to confirm this or talk about it, I thought, JJ Redick, the young Lakers head coach, did a really good job of understanding what Michael Malone was going to do with his rotation. And Malone is very, very, he's a creature of habit. I mean, Jokic sits out the first 3 or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then he comes back in. And obviously you saw Jokic enter back into this game, and then Malone removed all the starters with about 4-ish minutes and change left to play in this matchup as well, kind of signaling and waving the white flag that the Lakers had this one. But I thought that JJ Redick made an awesome adjustment. And I don't know when he tries to rest Luka. I know it's only been 4 games, but LeBron in particular, to take advantage and exploit those non-Jokic minutes to start the fourth quarter, because, Denver was within spitting distance to start the fourth, and they wind up scoring only 13 points in the fourth quarter. And I think a lot of that was fueled by the Lakers' explosiveness and ability to get out and score points, at a high level in those non-Jokic minutes to kind of set the tone in that fourth quarter. And that ultimately dug the Nuggets into a hole that they were unable to crawl out of. So it's a frustrating loss for Denver, but they're off a 9-game win streak. It's not the end of the world, but it is a little bit of gut check time with some interesting games coming up here on the schedule. So tip of the cap to JJ Redick. Denver was not ready to play. Luka, his best game as a Laker, kind of starting to see what this Luka LeBron pairing might look like here moving forward. It could be lethal, folks. Once they figure out how to play together. And also the way that LeBron and Luka were able to buy in collectively tonight on defense. I think that's something that, you have to talk about, because it's been a lot of Olay. I know a lot of people that have been tearing down the Lakers about, this Luka trade makes no sense because now you've got 2-star players that don't want to play defense, right? They proved you wrong tonight. I mean, LeBron had that swat against Michael Porter Jr. there late in the fourth quarter. They were buying in tonight on defense for the most part, were the Lakers, and the Nuggets, just sloppy basketball across the board. And, when both of those elements are working and Jokic is being hounded on, with the ball in his hand, it's going to be very tough for Denver to win without a guy like Jamal Murray having a career game or Michael Porter Jr. stepping up to the plate. So 123-100, your final score here tonight. Let me hit my first break, guys. When we come back, we will continue along with the conversation. Go ahead and drop some thoughts, Nuggets Nation, Lake Show Nation, whatever you guys want to do, and let me know how you're feeling out there. As I always like to say, I'm the host of the show, but you, the fans, the listeners, are the ones that help me drive the conversation. So we'll go back and forth. Let me know how you're feeling out there. And we'll come back here in just a moment on your Locked On Nuggets postcast, talking a little bit about Nikola Jokic's night and looking at the upcoming schedule for the Denver Nuggets. We'll hit a break, come back, and do just that right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth-quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I came up just short on a parlay tonight. I needed Nuggets money line and I needed Jokic 20+. So that is unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles here sometimes. And I love FanDuel, man. I'm an active FanDuel user. If you're not on FanDuel already, be sure to check them out. Take advantage of that bonus and let them know that Locked On Nuggets sent you. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. I'm going to see if we have some live quotes here that I could read from Michael Malone. It doesn't look like he's had his press conference yet, actually. But yeah, you guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. If you're watching live on YouTube, appreciate y'all as always. Do me a favor if you can, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. But getting back into it, the Lakers tonight get the best of the Denver Nuggets, snapping their 9-game winning streak, 123-100, your final score. The Lakers, they're surging right now, man. I know it's been a little up and down, but they're going to be a mid seed, maybe the 3 seed even potentially. We'll see how it all shakes out. In the Western Conference, they improved to 34-21 on the night, 15-14 on the road. So they're about 500. And Denver, as I mentioned, falls to 37-20 on the year, 20-9 at home, which you're still going to be happy with. Early in the year, they were losing some games at home, and you're like, what is going on with this team? But still a pretty good home record for Denver, so you'll live with that. And look, any given day, right? Denver came out, played nice against Charlotte, but it was Charlotte, and that's why I was really interested to see how they would respond, with the win streak, with momentum, with Murray playing well, with Jokic playing well. with Aaron Gordon back, MPJ back, Russell Westbrook back, back to full strength essentially. And I think that was also what was impressive for Denver over the course of the losing streak is they were doing it without some key players. Like obviously you had your top two guys in Murray and Jokic, but no Gordon, no Porter, no Westbrook, right? And, tonight with a full strength effort, Denver really just doesn't, they didn't get anything going. I mean, they never held a lead in this game. And, they put up 31 points in the first quarter. And we know that Denver's first quarters are a duality in the sense of they're pretty good at scoring a lot of points in the first quarter, but their defense is abysmal. And that held up tonight as the Lakers came out of the gate, outscored them 38-31. You see them both kind of settle into the game a little bit, 25-23, but the Lakers do win that quarter in the second. All knotted up at 33 all in the third. And then, as I mentioned, Denver trying to build some momentum there going into the fourth quarter. Turnovers, self-inflicted wounds, bad shot selection, shots not going in, whatever it might be. And the Lakers pounce on the non-Jokic minutes there to outscore Denver 27-13 in the fourth quarter. And looking at some of the stats from this game as well, I mean, Denver did out-rebound the Lakers, which you expect with no Anthony Davis no more. They won the rebound battle 45-39. But the flip side of that is they got killed in total turnovers, and they also got killed in points in the paint. I mean, the Lakers put up 52 points in the paint tonight. This is the Anthony Davis-less Los Angeles Lakers, and they ate the Nuggets for lunch in the paint tonight, outscoring them 52-30. But the biggest thing for me is the turnovers. 22 of them, 22 turnovers for the Denver Nuggets, which resulted in 39 points for the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, you're not going to win many games, even when Jokic is going Super Saiyan mode and Jamal's doing his thing. You're not going to win many games when you're giving up, when you're allowing 22 turnovers to result in 39 points. And the inverse to that is the Lakers only turned the ball over 9 times for 11 Denver Nuggets points. So, that's the story of the game here tonight, folks. I mean, the Nuggets didn't really shoot the ball well from the field either. 40%, 34 for 85. The Lakers did 43 for 86. That's good for 50%. But they matched them in 3-point shots. They were both 16 for 41. They were, within spitting distance of each other from the free throw line. But, at the end of the day, the turnovers and the points in the paint are what killed Denver. And another thing that, speaks volumes to the sloppiness and the poor play from the Nuggets tonight, they were outscored 33-9 in fast break points. And fast break points is typically an element where the Nuggets thrive. Like when the Nuggets are at their best, they're getting out, they're running, the ball's flying all over the place, CB layup, Aaron Gordon alley-oop, Michael Porter Jr. rebound putback, right? And you didn't really see much of that throughout the course of the game here tonight. So, again, just a good game from the Lakers and a bad game for the Nuggets. They never had a lead in this game. Never. The Lakers led from wire to wire as the Nuggets' 9-game losing streak comes to a close here. All right, let's talk a little Nikola Jokic here if we may as well. A triple-double for the big fella, which you'll live with. I mean, you almost kind of come to expect it right now for Jokic. I mean, he was minus 130 on the betting lines for a triple-double tonight, which is just hilarious when you think about it. And the fact that he almost didn't get it because he only had 11 points in this game. And, I think it was up until the second half, I believe Jokic had only taken 6 shot attempts. I mean, he only finishes with 7 attempts from the field, 1 shot from 3, which he missed. So a pretty uncharacteristic night from the reigning MVP in Nikola Jokic. I mean, 12 points, 10 assists, 13 rebounds, a minus 11 in the box plus minus. Did a good job of hitting his free throws, 8 of 10 from there. But, very passive. And if you're a Nugget fan, you're watching a lot of the games, you're listening to the postcast, that, passive Jokic games are nothing new, right? We've seen the passive Jokic games throughout the course of his career, even in his arc and his peak. But I think what's frustrating is his inability to get going tonight and how that really prevented Denver from establishing a rhythm and a flow on offense. And I think that was a combination, they slowed it down on ESPN a few times of the Lakers just having 2 or 3 defenders all around him at pretty much any given moment. And, maybe Jokic was coming into this game, trying to get his other teammates involved or whatever it might be, but he was just unable to get started tonight. And that's rare. It's very rare that you see a team, we've seen Jokic, be in the double digits, the teens, whatever it might be, entering into the fourth quarter. And then it's like, boom, layup, 3-point shot, layup, elbow, jump shot, whatever it might be. And Jokic goes from 13 points to 25 points in what feels like the blink of an eye. That was not the case tonight. I mean, he was in prison for the most part. And I'm a bit surprised, to be honest with you, especially with no Anthony Davis for the Los Angeles Lakers anymore. I mean, you had Jackson Hayes out there. Rui Hachimura did his thing as well. But we've seen Nikola Jokic take Rui Hachimura to lunch and just absolutely eat that up as well. And, so whatever it is, Jokic is allowed an off game. The Nuggets are allowed an off game, especially when you've won 9 in a row. It's just unfortunate that it comes in the manner in which it did and against the opponent in which it did with the Los Angeles Lakers tonight, who are going to be, a mid seed, if not a high seed in the NBA's Western Conference when it's all said and done. So again, Denver has really struggled against high-level opponents this season, which, it is going to be telling because you get into these 7-game series, right? And you look at the track record against these teams in the regular season, you kind of scratch your head here a little bit. But, I still believe in this Nuggets team. Like, I think one loss is not going to derail me from, the Nuggets are no longer a championship contender, this and that. I mean, they're going to be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference when it's all said and done, hopefully the 2. And Michael Malone had some interesting thoughts on that as well before the game I caught, kind of talking about how, they were very focused on seeding and matchups last year and how that maybe ended up coming back to bite them in the rear end with that Game 7 loss against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But it is one of those situations where why do they struggle against these really good teams? Because Denver is also a very good team. Like, that's the thing is, like, yes, they've cleaned up on some bottom feeders. You can only play who's on your schedule. And Denver did that with flying colors with a 9-game win streak. But they've got to figure out a way to take it up a notch when they go up against the Lakers, the Thunder, the Bucks, the Pistons. And the Pistons maybe don't fit in that category. The Celtics a week from tomorrow. And so that's where I'm very interested. Buckle up, folks. Get your popcorn ready. The next week of Denver Nuggets basketball is going to be fascinating for sure, without a doubt. But again, just a really impressive night from all the Lakers starters. Even Jackson Hayes, while he only had 4 points, disrupting the Denver Nuggets down low in the paint as well. But Rui puts up 21. His 3-point shots killed Denver. LeBron with 25. Luka with 32, his best game as a Laker. And Austin Reeves with 23. And, he was a pest, all throughout the course of the game, playing scrappy defense, physical defense, and knocking down 3-point shots when it was, time for him to knock down 3-point shots. So we'll see. Fernando says here, this is why I wasn't too high on this win streak. We beat very bad teams. 100%. And look, it's easy to blinders on. Like, I was excited, when they were winning all these games. You have to be excited, right? I mean, a 9-game win streak is not easy to do, or regardless against the opponents that you were playing against, right? So a 9-game win streak is something to be happy about, right? And feel good about. But you need to show up, right? You need to be able to put your money where your mouth is when you play these really good teams like the Lakers, and that's why I think, as I've said now a few times, these upcoming games are going to be very telling for the Denver Nuggets. Why don't we take a look here at percent? Denver has to be better in these situations, 100%. But let's take a look here. If I could pull it up, let's go to schedule. Yeah, so the next few games for Denver, they're off tomorrow. They'll be on the road at Indiana on Monday. You like Denver's odds to win that game for sure. Let's see what Indiana's record is. The Pistons are 31-23. So, they're a pretty good team. They're a pretty good team, but it is the Eastern Conference. So, there's a big gap, in my opinion, from the Cavs and the Celtics and the Knicks and the rest of the teams in the Eastern Conference. So, Indiana's been a pretty good team this year. So, that is not going to be a cakewalk, but you want Denver 5 p.m. tip-off local time in Colorado, obviously 7 o'clock there in Indiana, or 6 o'clock rather, I believe, because I think they're an hour ahead, if I could remember that off the top of my head. But you want to see them, kind of come out with a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth and have a convincing win against Indiana. You feel, a win is a win, even if it's close, but you want to see them bounce back against Indiana because on Thursday, they'll have a couple of days off. They'll have Tuesday, Wednesday off, and they'll come out on Thursday to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. That should be a fun matchup for sure. Giannis versus Jokic, always a good time to see two of the great players in the NBA today battling it out. Then they'll go on the road on a second night of a back-to-back to face the Detroit Pistons, who have been much better this year compared to years past. Detroit at 30-26. So a winning record for Detroit, Cade Cunningham and company as well. And then they'll have Saturday off before they take on the Boston Celtics on Sunday. That's an 11 a.m. tip-off Mountain Time here in Colorado at Boston, so in the TD Garden. So, these next 4 upcoming games for Denver, nothing's really easy. And looking at their upcoming schedule just for the rest of the way, they have got some tough matchups to round out the year. They'll come home to take on Sacramento. Then they've got Phoenix. They've got Oklahoma City 2 games in a row. Minnesota. They've got a 4-game stretch where it's Oklahoma City twice, Minnesota, and Los Angeles. The Lakers, that is. So, we're getting down to it. And they play the Lakers again. They play the Lakers one more time. They've got the Rockets still. They've got the Bucks a second time. They've got Minnesota again. They've got Golden State. They've got Indiana for a second time. They've got Sacramento. They got Memphis and Houston to round out the regular season. So, we're going to learn a lot about the Denver Nuggets here over the course of these next few games as we're getting to crunch time, folks. About 20 or so games left in the NBA's regular season. And while Denver's in a good spot, it's about how you finish. You want to seize that momentum. You want to feel good about your chances heading into the NBA postseason. So we'll see how it all plays out. But again, a tough loss tonight for Denver, 123-100 over the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll see if they can bounce back on Monday against the Indiana Pacers. But, I think we've pretty much hit on all of the major talking points from the game here tonight. It was just a wire-to-wire victory for the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, Denver just unable to get things going. And like I said, while Jokic does have a triple-double, and I saw a funny stat that Jokic is I don't have my phone next to me, but Jokic has as many triple-doubles as the second, third, and fourth players with triple-doubles in the league are combined. That's where we're at with Nikola Jokic right now. So even not on his best night, arguably one of his worst games of the season, Jokic still manages to find a way to put up a triple-double with 12, 13, and 10. So, you live with that, but, the Nuggets fans want to win. The Lakers, I believe the Lakers were like 1-13 in the last 14 games they've played against the Nuggets. So Denver's done a good job of kind of slowing them down and just having their number. Obviously, Denver has bounced them out of the playoffs, the last two NBA postseasons as well. So we'll see if they match up again. But, for tonight, it gives you a glimpse into what this Jokic or what this Luka LeBron dynamic might look like, especially when you got Rui and Austin Reeves knocking down their shots. And I know that Rui ended up leaving this game early with it looked like a back injury apparently. But you expect him playoff time to be okay. That's essentially all she wrote tonight, folks. I mean, it's a frustrating loss for Denver, but you got to tip the cap to the Lakers. Denver was not focused, was not ready to play, and the Lakers just wanted this one more. That's where we're at. So the 9-game win streak comes to a close. Looking to bounce back on Monday are the Denver Nuggets. But any last comments, guys, feel free to go ahead and throw those out there as we wind on down here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Really appreciate you guys tapping in. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. And, action-packed games here coming up for Denver. Here's one quote from Michael Malone and Jamal Murray. This is from my guy, Ryan Blackburn, who you guys all know on the Locked On Nuggets podcast. He says on X, a lot of candid comments from the Nuggets about not matching the effort and intensity that the Lakers brought tonight. Malone, quote, "We were outplayed tonight. We were outcoached tonight," end quote. Murray, "We didn't match their intensity." So that's everything for the most part that we've hit on tonight on the program as well, as Denver loses to the Los Angeles Lakers 123-100. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. It's early. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. Forget about this game and on to the next with Monday against the Indiana Pacers. But I'm Aniello Piro signing off. You guys can follow me on social at Media by AP. A tough loss, but the boys will look to bounce back. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks, and we'll talk to you guys on Monday night.